You know how you browse the web every single day. Well, what if I told you that with every click, you're leaving behind a digital shadow? In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the massive gap between the privacy you think you have and the startling reality of who's actually watching. So you open up that incognito window, thinking it's your personal invisibility cloak for the internet, right? Yeah, about that. What if I told you it's less of a cloak and more of a see-through veil? All right, let's actually follow that trail. We're going to dig into the breadcrumbs you're leaving behind, even when you think you're being private. And we're going to see exactly who's picking them up and how they're doing it. Okay, so first things first, we have got to talk about this illusion of privacy. And we're going to start by taking apart the one tool most people rely on to stay anonymous online. So let's get real. What is incognito mode actually doing? On one hand, yeah, it does a couple of things. It stops your computer from saving your browsing history locally, and it clears out the cookies from that specific session once you close the window. That's basically it. What it absolutely doesn't do is hide your IP address. It doesn't stop websites from tracking you. And most importantly, it does nothing to stop a much, much sneakier method of tracking. And look, this isn't just my opinion. The people who make these browsers will tell you the same thing. Private browsing was really only designed to hide what you're doing from, say, someone else who uses your computer. It was never, ever meant to make you truly anonymous online. So if private browsing isn't the answer, what's really going on in the background? Well, it turns out there's this way more sophisticated method for tracking you, and it doesn't even need cookies to work. It's called browser fingerprinting. And yeah, it is exactly as creepy as it sounds. Think of it like a unique digital DNA that's created from all your device's little quirks and settings. It's so specific that it can pick you out of a crowd with shocking accuracy. No cookies required. So what goes into this digital DNA? It's a whole mix of things that seem totally harmless on their own. We're talking your screen resolution, your operating system, the exact browser version you're using, your language and time zone settings, even the specific fonts you have installed on your system. By themselves, they don't mean much. But when you combine them all, you get a fingerprint that's so unique it can pinpoint you. And here's the absolute kicker. Your browser fingerprint does not change just because you opened a private window. To a tracker, your incognito self looks exactly like your regular self. It lets them connect the dots and link all your activity, completely blowing the whole idea of a private session right out of the water. But having a unique fingerprint is just one piece of the puzzle. The real power comes from how that unique ID of yours gets passed around this huge invisible network, a network that ends up deciding what ads you see, what news gets pushed to you, and sometimes even what prices you're shown. This is how that whole network talks to each other. It's a technique called cookie syncing. Let me break it down. You pop onto a website, right? In the background, tracker A slaps a unique ID on you. Then in a split second, that site tells your browser to talk to tracker B, and it whispers your ID to them. Now tracker B knows who you are, and it adds its own ID. Just like that, your identity is linked across two totally different networks, and they can start building a combined profile on you. And believe me, this isn't some niche thing happening on weird corners of the internet. A landmark Princeton study found that over 70%, 70 of the web's most popular sites have these trackers baked right in. They are everywhere. Okay, I know this all sounds pretty bleak. It's a huge problem, for sure. But, and this is a big but, you are not powerless here. Let's talk about the tools you can use to actually fight back and take some control. Here's your privacy toolkit. First up, using a privacy-focused browser like Brave or Firefox is a fantastic start. They block a ton of this stuff by default. Next, you want to add a dedicated tracker blocker like uBlock Origin. Think of it as a bouncer for your browser. For an even stronger shield, a VPN encrypts your traffic and hides your IP address.
And finally, switching to a private search engine like DuckDuckGo means your curiosities aren't being logged and tied to you.
Now, it is really, really important to get this. There is no single magic bullet that solves everything. The real strategy here is creating layers of defense. Every tool you add creates another barrier, making it exponentially harder for anyone to follow your digital shadow. So there you have it. The invisible tracking network is real, but the tools to fight back are real too. You know the secrets now. You know what's happening behind the screen. So the only question left is, how are you going to browse differently?